welcome once again to Think of a Number, which this week is all about flight. I've just flown in. Makes your arms tired. It also makes your scarf stiff. But never mind. Let's gut all this off. Because flight's what we're talking about. Pull. Ooh. Oh. Well done. I'm de-gloved, de-scarfed, de-jacketed. And we're going to talk about flight. So you there, start by giving me a number between 2 and 7. 5 will do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you reckon you could juggle and keep 5 balls in the air all at once? No? Neither can I. But that's what the program's all about. Keeping things in the air longer than they would normally stay in the air. It's about flight. I'm your pilot. I used to be a pilot on a farm. I used to pilot here and... a messy business. However, you're all the passengers and we're taking you on a flight of fancy. Have you got everything you need? What have you got? Sick bags. That's terrible. All right, keep them for a minute. You see, most people's first experience of flight happens when they go on holiday. So you need holiday things. You need sun hats. You need frisbees. You need paper plates. You need playing cards for rainy days. And amazingly, all these things, to a certain extent, fly if you know how to chuck them. Oops. And they come back to you, even playing cards. Missed it, one more. And they come, missed that one as well. They come back. What have you got? Your sick bags. I wish I'd never brought this up. Never mind. All right, see if you can fly them. Go on, chuck them all. Rubbish, they go all over the place. Have that one back. What you might do is open the bag out. If you can get it back, open it out. Perhaps they'll catch the air as they fall. You might even give them a spin. Try it, drop them. Rubbish! They turn over. So what you need to do, really, is put a bit of weight on one end and some strings. Oh, and then, oops, went before I was ready. And then make a hole in the top. It's very important. So the air can actually get through. Small hole. And now you've got a... Brilliant! And there it goes! Leonardo da Vinci thought of the parachute, but Mother Nature was at it millions of years before Leonardo da Vinci. She thought of a way of keeping things in the air. Sycamore seeds. She thought, what if I give them a wing? Who's got the sycamore seeds? Grab a handful. I'll grab some. There you are. Bring them out. And up the ladder. What's your name?
Simon.
Oh, great. Are you high enough there? Don't worry. OK, now throw some of them up in the air. And you can see, throw some more. Throw a whole lot. And you can see how like propellers they are. But hang on. They're difficult to see, but you can make sycamore leaves out of paper and cardboard. Can you throw it? Terrific. And that one. Are they great? Or you can make these rotor devices. When you drop... Ah! You didn't drop it right. Do it again, do it again, do it again. Drop it tail down, just drop it. There you are, an auto gyro. Same principle. Marvellous, give him a round of applause. And they all actually fly. They hover to a certain extent. But man was as clever as Mother Nature to a certain extent. It took a while, but invented something like this, which is a North American throwing stick. It will be used for throwing at animals or birds, and if you're lucky, you might hit one. But somewhere along the line, a primitive man made one of these sticks wrong, because when he threw it, it came back to him, and he'd invented... the boomerang! Time me kangaroo down, sport, time me kangaroo down. Enough! Rolf Harris, look at this. Boomerangs. Lots of them. These are Aborigine boomerangs from Australia. But not all boomerangs come from Australia. They come from all continents of the world. They've been found in North America. Some were found in the tomb of King Tutankhamun in Egypt. They've even been found on Tutankhamun. And they come in all shapes. Curved ones, yes. Curved ones like this, called Napoleon's hat. There's another one very similar. Wobbly curved ones. They don't have to be curved. They can be angular, like that. or they can be banana-shaped. Somebody slipped up making that one. That's a three-legged one, looks like a kangaroo. And this one's remarkable, and if it's not flying, you can fold it up and put it in your pocket. Some more here. And look at that. What's the best boomerang that's ever been made? Well, this one was designed by computer. But this is the best. The world champion boomerang for duration of flight. Because in August 1983, this flew for 36.33 seconds. A tremendously long throw, isn't it? Now, we can't throw it in here because we'd break the lights or knock people's eyes out. But we've got these boomerangs that we can throw, paper ones. Come on out. And they come in all sizes and shapes. You can have three-legged ones, four-legged ones, five-legged, and you throw them a bit like this, with a flip. Nearly came out. Let me have another go. You need thin card. Cornflakes packet does very well. Have a go. Not as hard as that. Next one. Hey! Oh, that's terrific. Have another go. Go on. And the next. Last one. Disappear forever. Give her a round of applause. Oh. Now, boomerangs were developed in all kinds of countries. The Chinese, they invented boomerangs. You've heard of Chinese takeaways? These were Chinese comebacks. But the Chinese are more famous for inventing another flying machine, the kite. Some Chinese kites were enormous. They carry a man aloft so that in battle he could count the numbers of the enemy or mark out their lines. He might even fire arrows at them. What an harrowing experience. Even today, in the Far East, they have battles with kites. They try to soar through the other person's kite line with their kite. But kites only fly because they're tilted by their string into the wind, and the wind pushes them up into the air. Without wind, kites can't fly. But if there's no wind, you can use hot air. And when there's enough hot air inside, up it goes. Now, you can't really fly hot air balloons or kites in a studio or indoors. You definitely can't fly them in your own home, can you? No, but there are paper devices that you can make that will fly in your own homes. Paper darts. You must have made some. Have a go. You walk a piece of paper that size, fold it in half long ways like that, and then lay it out and fold the corners over the centre line. It's best to take your time and make it as neat as you can, and then they'll fly better. Fold it in again to the centre line. Right? So that it's quite a narrow dart like that. Then fold it in half, flatten it out, and now fold the wings back out to the centre line. And fold the other side, and you should have a dart, something like that. Have you? Well, carry on till you're finished. I usually cut the nose off so that it's not sharp at the front, so that if it hits anybody, it won't do them any harm. And also, sometimes you can put a paper clip just a bit further back than halfway, and that gives it a bit of ballast. See if mine flies. Wasn't bad, was it? How about yours? Ready, go! Wow! Hey, that's enough! Oh, there are all kinds of darts. We've been making them all day here. This is one. Looks a bit like Concorde, doesn't it? And this design won a championship as the best origami glider in America. The way to make it, well, you can find that in the Think of a Number book, and it flies pretty well. If you throw it right. The trouble with darts is they tend just to lose height and glide in one direction. If you want an aerobatic craft, well, you've got to build your aerobatics into a piece of paper. I'll show you what I mean. got a dart here. It'll glide along. What happens if I drop it nose down? Chunk. Straight down. Now, what's a piece of paper if I drop that? Nobody knows what it's going to do. So you've got to build control into your piece of paper. So if you've got some paper, what you do is this. Roll, hold it sideways, and roll one edge up. Very carefully, try not to crimp it, and roll that as tight as you can. About the size of a pencil is the roll you need to finish up with, which takes a bit of time and a bit of practice. About half the page only, that's all you need rolled up. Sorry, half the page only. And then flatten it out like that. It's just half the page, okay? Turn that over and pull it on the side of a desk, and you get a curve on it, and already it'll fly a little bit. See? Glides. Right, now, the next thing you do, you carry on, I'll just carry on with this one. Next thing you do is fold it in half to give it a keel. And when you've done that, fold the ends over about the thickness of a pencil, or perhaps a bit more, centimetre, centimetre and a half. Now, you should do it accurately and make sure that each end turns up exactly the same on each side. And now you've got a craft that looks like that. You can weight it with paper clips. There and there. And now this should fly pretty well. Let's see if it flies. Hey, it wasn't bad, was it? Then you mark it out like that and cut that out, and you finish up with a plane a bit like that. And then you need to fold these edges over, and when you fold them over, make sure that the fold toes in towards a point somewhere ahead of the nose, okay? Give it a bit of curl on the back edge, and with a lot of trial and error and practicing, you'll get an aerobatic model, and you'll be able to get it to do all kinds of things. This, earlier on, was doing a roll. Let's see if it'll do it again. There we are. It rolls, and it dips, goes all over the place. Now, with trial and error, you can get them to do all kinds of things. But if you're too lazy to make them, you can actually buy paper aircraft that do aerobatics. And some of you have got some. Now, you hold it just behind the nose and throw it. Try it now. Whee! Wow, that's great. Oh, it hit the deck. One more. Whee! And I've got it. And it's true, they work very well. The reason they work well is because they've been designed well. And if you look at the design of these paper planes, you can understand how aircraft actually fly. Because if you can see the wing, you can see it's curved. And that gives it lift. I'll explain why. As it's flying through the air's coming towards it, and the air has to separate when the wing hits it. Some of it goes underneath. Well, that's all right, because it can go straight, you see? But the air going over the top has to go over this curve, and so it has to go further, and it's being dragged by all the other air, which makes this air hurry up. It actually increases speed. Now, the faster air moves, the less pressure it has. So what you get with faster air on the top wing is less pressure. You've still got normal pressure underneath, and that normal pressure pushes the plane up, gives it lift, and it flies. And I'll explain that a bit better with a strip of paper. Have you got some of this? Now, what I want you to do is just stick it on your bottom lip. Right, a big tongue hanging out, all right? Right. Now, hold it like that with your fingers and blow straight out. And amazingly, the paper lifts, even though you're only blowing over the top. You see, there's normal pressure underneath, and that lifts the paper into the air. That's how all aircraft fly. But if you want to see how real aircraft fly and how they behave in the air, well, you need a machine like this. This is a flight demonstration wind tunnel for training pilots. It's a bit smoky in there at the moment, but now, if I start it up, and we got this smoke to show you what happens. But first of all, can you see how the curve is much more pronounced on the top of the wing and less pronounced underneath? That helps to give it the lift I was telling you about. Now, to fly an aircraft like this, you need to get some airspeed. And this throttle does that. So I increase the wind speed until it reaches 30 knots. And there we are at 30 knots. Now, to get it to lift into the air, I need to tilt the tailplane. If I tilt it up like that, more wind will hit it and push it down, bring the nose up, and we'll fly. This joystick tilts the tailplane. So here we go. And I'm flying. And I bring it up to the smoke. And you can see how the smoke is whipping over the top surface. And it takes a lot of practice to control it. This is great training for pilots. Now the wind speed might increase, in which case you don't need as much tilt on your tail. And all the time you've got to keep the aircraft in control. Whoa! And what happens if the airspeed drops? Oh! You crash! That's what happens. Let's switch everything off. That's the great thing about this. It's great for training pilots before they ever get into a real aircraft. You crash this thing and nobody's hurt. Flying powered aircraft can be very dangerous. But you can make model aircraft that are powered, not with petrol engines, but with elastic bands. Come on, stand up. Is it wound up?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Paul.
Paul, right, okay. Fire it over there. Look at that! Oh, it's stalled! Next! Wait, oh! Next one! Bad look. Yes. Wow! And look at this one. Another elastic band powered Whistler. See how it flies. Look at that. Now then, comes home to its nest. Here's another version. Well whistled, lads. Damn good, that. Another version. This is a blowjet. Hold it, build up the pressure, and then let go. Wow, well caught. You can buy those, but you can also make them. I'll show you how. What you need is 2 straws, an ordinary thin one, and a thicker one, the sort you get in hamburger joints, okay? Now, with this one, you've got to make it into a plane. So, fix a wing. We've made a triangular wing and a tailplane. Bit of trial and error there to see if it'll work. Block that end up with plasticine, and then put the thinner straw inside there. You've got to hold, put one finger on each, but only hold the thin straw with your thumb. Build up the pressure. And off we go. That wasn't bad, was it? Right, you've got some. Ready, steady, fire! Wow! Some great use through that. Never mind, it's the jet principle. With a bit of practice, you can get them to really work well. But hang on, this is blowing to push it forward. A jet works the other way. It blows backwards for the jet to go forwards. Isaac Newton explained it. For every action, there's an opposite reaction. And we can demonstrate it with this fabulous Concorde jet here. Concorde on a wire. And here we've got a CO2 bulb, and here we've got a very sharp point. I need an hammer. Have you been chewing this? They're all amateurs, you see. Watch carefully or you'll miss it because it happens in a flash. Boing! Look at that. Goes like mad. It's a jet. Safe because we've tethered it. Because you couldn't have a real jet in a studio, could you? Couldn't you? Look at this. I think it was going to take off then. Look at that. Isn't it incredible? It is the only model aircraft in the world with a working jet engine. And it's very hot at the moment. Look at that. The professional jet engine builders said it couldn't be done You couldn't make one as small as this. And look at that. Flies at about 100 miles an hour for about 7 minutes. And it really is incredible. It took 5 men 8 years to make it. But you see where it can lead if you start into model aircraft. What about simple darts or gliders? What's the best glider that's ever been? It has to be this. The shuttle, of course, it's 2 things. It's a rocket at the beginning. These great rockets push it up into the air. This great fuel tank here, and when that's used up, it drops away, and the shuttle goes into orbit on its own. You know what? Only much more comfortably than that. And then when it's in orbit, it performs all kinds of functions. These doors open, and the experiments continue until it's ready to come back. The doors close. And these jets aren't used anymore. You've got these tiny jets here, very small ones, there and here in the nose. And they work just for a second or so to push it out of orbit and head it down towards Earth. And from then on, it's gliding. 17,000 miles an hour it's going at. And it glides for 60 minutes, twice round the Earth, and then comes in to land, still doing 230 miles an hour. No power at all during the glide, except when it touches down, and they use power to bring it to a halt. The incredible, most incredible glider of all. Let's have a flight of fancy puzzle. Here we have sort of a shadow of what could be a jet, it could be Concorde or something like that. And it's been cut into pieces. And the pieces just cover a triangle. But if I swap them around like this, and put them back, look what's happened. Covers the same area, but now there's a hole in it. How does it work? If you'd like to know how it works, or anything about the program, drop me a line. You need a stamped addressed envelope with your address on it and a stamp on it, and you need an envelope addressed to us. You know the address. Johnny Ball, think of a number, BBC Television, London, W1A, 1AA. And we'll tell you how to make paper airplanes, or how to make boomerangs, or how to make hot air balloons, or kites, and all kinds of other things. Even how to do this puzzle. All you have to do is send the envelope to us by express post, or you can send it airmail. Goodbye. Well, hey, you did go again.